On Sunday the 16th of March 2025, I drove the car to St Helens for the Transport Museum's Spring Transport Festival. We did not attend with the Barrow Transport Group this year, as the group had decided to have a shed day instead, to progress with the interior refurbishment and engine rebuild of the open-top Leyland Atlantean Sea Dog 931. This has been the group's main focus in recent months. The hope is that once 931 is at least deemed to be mechanically fit, it will free up capacity for the group to fix and re-MOT Mercedes-Benz 709D 572 and also to rebuild the clutch and address engine oil leaks on Leyland Tiger 206, with a view to having both of these vehicles return to the road. The drive from Barrow was very good. Finding a parking space, however, proved to be a bit of a nightmare. I had intended to use the high-level car park at the Hardshaw shopping centre, although to my horror I found that it was closed and gated off. I blame Google Street View for this. After a bit of dithering with Google Maps, I went to another car park, only to find that all of the spaces were for blue badge holders only. By sheer luck, I managed to find a parking spot at the end of Hardshaw Street, which at the time of my visit was free of charge on Sundays. You have to pay and display between Monday and Saturday. Having arrived in time for the start of the event, I started my day by taking video of the vehicles that were parked outside. Next, I headed into the museum, which was packed to the brim with preserved buses and displays of other modes of transport. Some of the most interesting exhibits included this 1935 Leyland TD4, which used to operate around Portsmouth, and this much older Thornycroft 20-seater, dating from the 1920s. 4 heritage bus services were in operation at the event, serving Moss Bank, St Helens Station, Dunreading Lane and the town centre. The buses were departing at hourly intervals, although some workings were duplicated, most of which carried full loads throughout the day, which was nice to see. We start with the ride to Moss Bank, aboard the St Helens Leyland Titan number 54. New in 1967, it was one of the last traditional rear entrance buses to be built. For the return trip, I managed to grab a seat aboard Chester Leyland Olympian number 4. It entered service with Chester City Transport in 1985. The bus entered preservation in 2014 after it was purchased from a dance troupe in Skelmersdale. Next, we take a ride around the town centre, aboard Warrington Corporation Leyland PD2 number 50. Entering service in 1965, this bus was one of 12 of its type to be specifically built with a 7-foot 6-inch body. The narrow profile was required by Warrington so that two buses could pass each other on Sankey Street, which at that time carried two-way traffic in narrow lanes. A few months after the bus's introduction, however, the street became one-way, so the width didn't really matter in the end. In 1980, this bus was donated to the St Helens Transport Museum for preservation. The biggest surprise of the day was the arrival of this rather beastly Volvo B10M, one of two recently imported from Funchal, Madeira by a group of enthusiasts in Derbyshire. Built with a Utic body, this particular example was new to service in 1981 and retired last year in 2024. GG Peak Explorer was invited to come and record the journey of the two Volvos back to the UK. I have left a link to his video in the description below, and it's certainly well worth a watch. Luckily, I was able to board the bus for quite a white-knuckle ride to Moss Bank. When fully loaded, the narrow 3+2 seating layout made things feel pretty tight. As the doors are placed on the wrong side of the road, during the return trip we diverted into a warehouse estate where passengers could safely alight for a photo opportunity. For my final trip I had one more run to Moss Bank aboard the superb Wallasey No. 1, a Leyland Atlantean built with a Metro Camel body. New to Wallasey Corporation in 1958, it was one of the first production Atlanteans to enter service. The bus was passed to Merseyside PTE in 1969 and withdrawn from service in 1977. Since 1979, the bus has been in preservation and is currently preserved by the 201 Bus Group in near original condition. Overall, it was a very good day at St Helens. There was a great turnout of people, and although it was slightly chilly, the weather remained dry. I especially enjoyed the ride on the B10, and after making their £5 donation, I got this nifty little UTIC keyring badge, which provides for a nice memento. All being well, the next bus rally I plan on attending will be the 2025 Kirby Stephen Easter Rally with the Barrow Transport Group. If you wish to follow me, please feel free to press the subscribe button and be sure to turn on notifications so that YouTube will actively tell you when a new video appears. Pressing the like button would be greatly appreciated, and if you would like to support the channel further, you can tip me on Ko-fi or by pressing YouTube's super thanks button. As always, thank you so much for your viewership and take care.